In today's passage, John 4, 1 through 40, we encounter the well-known story of the woman at the well, which I encourage you to read in its entirety on your own. The story of the woman at the well is a powerful example of how the gospel transforms lives and inspires us to share its message. At this time, Jesus' popularity was becoming quite noticeable to the Pharisees, and so he left Judea to head back to Galilee through the town of Samaria, where he meets a woman at Jacob's well. Now, Jesus asks the woman for a drink, and the woman was a bit taken back because he was a Jew and she was a Samaritan, and she knew that Jews and Samaritans didn't associate because of a long history of racial and religious prejudices which separated them. Of course, Jesus knew she was from Samaria, and he asked her anyway. Jesus replied, saying, "If you knew the gift of God and who it is that asks you for a drink, you would have asked him, and he would give you living water." As you can imagine, the woman's response was filled with several questions like, "But you have nothing to draw the water with, and the well is so deep. And also, where do you get this living water from? Are you greater than our father, Jacob?" Right here, we see a personal encounter with Jesus. He does not wait for her to approach him. He initiated the conversation. And not only does this show his ability to reach across social divides, but also his ability to see someone who may feel unseen or unworthy. This woman came to the well during a time when no one would be there. She was a social outcast, living in sin and filled with shame. Jesus breaks through cultural and societal barriers by speaking the truth and offering her living water, which can only be found through him. Jesus does not ignore this woman's sin. In fact, he reveals her past and present sin to her, acknowledging that he knows all about her life and he offers her hope. This woman's heart is forever changed, and leaving her water jar behind, she rushes into town telling others about the Messiah that she just encountered. So this woman, who is a social outcast in her own community, encounters Christ and has her life changed, and then immediately runs to that same group of people who treat her so poorly, and she wants to tell them all about Jesus. Simply incredible. This story highlights how personal encounters with Christ fuel mission. When we have experienced his grace and forgiveness, we are compelled to share this good news. And like the woman at the well, we do not need years and years of biblical training or to have perfect lives in order to be witnesses. All we need is the truth of what Jesus has done for us. Jesus' interaction with the Samaritan woman teaches us that we, too, can cross boundaries by not letting social, cultural, or personal fears keep us from sharing Christ. His love is for everyone, and we need to share our story because our encounters with Christ matter, and our testimonies matter. What Jesus has done in your life and in mine can bring hope to others. And then we can be like the woman and simply say, "Come, see a man who told me everything I ever did." Inviting others to experience Jesus for themselves is a powerful way to share the gospel. And this story reminds us that no one is too far gone to be transformed by Christ. It calls us to go into our own communities, workplaces, and beyond with the message of redemption and hope. And as we go with the gospel, we trust that the living water Jesus gives will quench the thirst of searching souls. Will you pray with me? Lord, help us to boldly share your love with others. Give us the courage to reach across barriers and the passion to testify to your grace and the faith to trust that you are working in the hearts of those that we encounter. Amen.